A great tactic to actually knock some sense into someone who's just not getting something or is unwilling to get something is, instead of letting them control the conversation with the questions that they ask you, you ask them to explain. Explain to me this, explain to me that, so that they begin to actually stumble over their own words. And here Senator Cotton does this in a very beautiful way by just asking the question of who should be responsible to provide aid to Gaza. Is it in fact Israel's responsibility, as America has established that assumption that Israel has this great responsibility? Let's watch this conversation where he poses this question.
You talked a lot with Senator Reid about Israel's responsibility to provide aid in Gaza. Why does Israel have a responsibility to provide aid to Gaza? Israel was the victim of an unprovoked, vicious attack on October 7th. Why should they provide aid to the aggressor nation, or aggressor? Gaza's not a nation, to the aggressors on October 7th. We didn't provide aid to Germany and Japan during World War II.
What we did provide aid to and assistance to many of the countries that we've operated in recently.
But not in World War II. If you had been in George Marshall's or Dwight Eisenhower's position in World War II, would you have wanted to provide aid to Germany?
He's making a very logical, very obvious, clear, simple, logical argument, and that is, you're fighting an enemy that started a war with you, killing your citizens. And you're trying to eliminate the terrorists, and so you're going to continue to feed them. And this is, of course, on top of the fact that, and America, of course, knows these truths. The Arab world lies, and turns their eyes and says all these things didn't happen. America acknowledges the truth. We know that when we bring in these trucks, as just happened in the last couple of days, that when we bring these trucks of the humanitarian aid into Gaza, who takes those trucks? Hamas does. The very people we are trying to kill, we are now feeding, making it so much more difficult. Instead of starving them to death by actually closing in on them and starving them, forcing them to either come out or die, right? We're actually feeding them. So what we end up doing, unfortunately, with an enormous amount of American coercion is, and that's the point that Senator Cotton is actually raising, is that we are actually fighting against ourselves. And all that does is prolong the war, and it prolongs the suffering for any innocent Palestinians that there might be in Gaza, and of course, the Israeli nation. So this is just, if you can't answer this question, which no one should be able to answer because it doesn't make sense to actually put your foot on the gas pedal while you're putting it on the brake, then we have to face it. And sometimes you have to do things which are difficult, and that is withhold humanitarian aid for a certain amount of time from a certain segment of the population, so we can actually bring this to the end that we all want this to reach.